Good morning, y'all. Get up. What y'all doing? Happy Saturday. Get up, get up, get up. Let's talk some Bravo gossip. Just a couple different little stories I want to get into with y'all. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. If you're working, if you're not working, I hope that you get a sense of renewed energy, whether it's energy to just do self-care, just to chill out, because sometimes you can not be working and feel drained. So I hope that y'all get refreshed, renewed, let your mind be renewed, be at rest. Any frustrations or feelings that you have, scream. You know how sometimes you say, I feel like I could scream? I'll never forget Rose Nyland from the Golden Girls taught me a very important lesson. She said, people always say they feel like screaming and they never scream. And it was either her or Blanche. I think she screamed. And sometimes I do that. I did that with my husband the other day. I left a voice note and said, hey, I want to scream and I know I'm going to feel better. So I want to give you a warning not to listen to this next voice note fully close to your ear. And then I left a voice note screaming for like 6 seconds. And then I felt tremendously better. And he said, I'm really glad that you feel better. So scream, let it all out. Do an extraction like Gina from the OC when she pulled all that out. Nah, but seriously, y'all, I really hope that y'all have an amazing, refueling, refreshing weekend. All right, let's get into some of these topics. First up, again, I'm going to go in by saying a lot of these things y'all have probably already talked about. We haven't talked about them together. So, Nene recently came out, right, and said Nene Leakes confirmed she has never been Nene confirmed that they have not asked her back for season 17, right? So people are like, why is she saying this? What is making her say this? You know, when you sue the company, you're not asked back. When you call your boss a coquette. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know I have a lot of housewives historians, especially Atlanta, watching. When all that was going on, when she was in the media and on Tamra Hall and said, don't my life matter? Didn't she call Wendy the cokehead and Andy a racist? So she didn't necessarily call Andy a cokehead. I thought she called Wendy Williams the cokehead and Andy the racist. I meant to go back and look and see. But anyway, people were like, why is she saying this? Why is she coming out with an announcement that we already knew? Well, I felt like let's go back to this. This is something that we talked about before. And this is from No Chaser TV by way of Carlos King.
Right. Yep.
Last one. Dylan the realtor says, "Can we clock? Nene been getting real acquainted with the girls. What's that mean, Carlos? Hashtag leaks is back? Question mark.
I think
I
I
hope
heard
so.
that. I heard the people that have been talking in
Yeah.
NBC Universal they have been talking for a while about coming back. This came from a Caucasian person in the business on the West Coast that is in talks with those people, and those are his
Good.
people. And he said that she will be coming back for next season.
Good.
Allegedly.
I hope her and Kenya come back next season. That would be
That'd be
great.
dope.
Yep.
Mhm.
So I think that's why Nene came out and said, I ain't heard nothing from the people. Because again, people were like, why is she making an announcement that we already know about? We figured she wasn't asked back. You know, you can't sue the company. But then you have Claudia Jordan, who some people trust as a source, saying, I talked to the good white folks over on the West Coast at NBC, and they're saying that they've been in talks for her to come back. So could it be that they've been talking to her, but she hasn't officially been asked back? Or is Claudia maybe not hearing from the right source? I don't know. But I just wanted to show that because I think that's why Nene came out and made that announcement. Hey, I'm not coming back, blah, blah, blah. Since we're talking about coming back, I want to get into something real quick. I want y'all to listen to something. I'm not going to play it, but I want y'all to listen to it. Before I do that, let me just pull this up real quick. Y'all can't see it, but matter of fact, I'm gonna share my screen so YouTube could see I showed it big. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, education, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Y'all, what are we getting ready to do? I'm not going to lie, I'm getting ready to criticize. And you'll see why in a minute. But we're also researching, okay? Just wanted to show y'all that. Real quickity quickums. All right. So speaking of coming back, before we get into who may be coming back, I just want to refresh y'all's memory. I just want y'all to listen and listen well.
Annie, like, how much kind of person you? There wasn't even one positive question for me. It was hammered. Like, I didn't think it was all about you have the control. You just say stuff.
At the vibe, honey.
No tears.
Crown did not even shit.
That bitch knows I'm not racist. Nene knows I'm not racist. You know, you have not found another white woman to sit on that mother because nobody's dumb enough to do that. Right? I'm so.
You know how you haven't found another white woman to sit on that mother effer? Because no one is dumb enough to do that. No other white woman is dumb enough to sit on a couch full of white women and be held accountable for the things that she did and said. This is season 10 reunion when Kim got pulled up for all the things she did and said. Again, let me go back real fast.
That bitch knows I'm not racist. Nene knows I'm not racist. You know, you have not found another white woman to sit on that mother because nobody's dumb enough to do that. Right? I'm
Because no one is dumb enough to do that.
upset with you. Like, I just didn't feel like you stuck up for me or helped me with them ganging up on me.
I don't want you to feel like that. I definitely don't want you to feel like that.
I did have Portia. And Portia stuck up for me. I just didn't feel like you were really sticking.
I did have Portia, and Portia stuck up for me. So there's not a white woman dumb enough to go sit on a couch with black women because nobody sticks up for me, even though Portia stood up for me, even though I was being held accountable for my actions and for the things that I said. Okay.
She was really wanted your kids. She wouldn't stop.
I mean, I don't know if I expected you to just stop.
Even before you got out there, I'm not here to fight nobody's battle. But Nene has everybody over him. I honestly, that was horrible.
Like, put yourself in my shoes. African American women just hammer. Like, I couldn't even speak. Like, my mind's.
Put yourself in my shoes. 5 African American women just hammering you. She didn't say, Sheree, put yourself in my shoes. 5 women coming at me. And I had no one to back me up. She specifically said 5 African American women. I just want to.
But Nene has everybody over him. I honestly, that was horrible.
Like, put yourself in my shoes. African American women just hammer. Like, I couldn't even.
I want y'all to see this real quick. When she said that, the people outside the door, the 2 black men, look at their faces. Oh, shoot. Hold on.
Speak like my.
It won't even show y'all, I guess, because I'm screen recording. But I wish you could have seen their faces when she said that. Put yourself in my shoes. 5 African American women just hammering me. Not, again, put yourself in my shoes. 5 women coming at me and you say nothing. So what other white woman will be dumb enough to sit on a couch full of with black women? Put yourself in my shoes. 5 African American women just hammering me. Okay, I just wanted to revisit the past for a minute. Now let's jump to the future. This is according to Reality Blur by way of Michelle A.T. Alien. Now I will say this, a lot of the things that Michelle A.T. Alien says, people may not like it, but she's proven true a lot of the times. But let's get into what she recently said. Y'all ready for this? Okay. On the heels of Kenya Moore's exit from the series, as well as that of season 6 newbie Brittany Edie, a news report claims that both Kim, 47, and Sheree, 55, will be back for the new episodes, while also sharing the fate of their fellow series OG Nene Leakes. Nene Leakes not returning to RHOA, Sheree Whitfield and Kim Zolciak Peach confirmed. A post that was shared by The Girls Are Fighting declared on X on August 9th, citing straight from the A as its source, which is Michelle A.T. Alien. According to insider Michelle Brown, Nene Leakes will not be back for Real Housewives of Atlanta season 17. Meanwhile, Sheree Whitfield has officially signed on for the new season, and Kim Zolciak is set to return, though likely in a friend of role rather than full time. And of course, she's bringing Sheree back. She would come through to Sheree. As a black woman, even if that is your good friend, for you not to say, well, look, let's not go there. 5 African American women, you mean just 5 women in general. It doesn't matter that they black. This is a black show. Would she have said that sitting with the Beverly Hills girls? Would she have said, if she was on that show and did the things she did to them and they held her behind her feet to the fire, would she have said, I'm a white woman being attacked by 5 other white women? After saying, Nene knows I'm not racist. So Kim says, I know I'm not racist. What other white woman will be dumb enough to sit on the couch with 5 black women just hammering her? Let me be clear. There's going to be people that disagree, and that's cool. We all have a right to our opinions. There's going to be people that agree. There's going to be people that are indifferent, because I know there's housewives that I'm indifferent to whether they come back or not. For me, I never, ever, ever want to see Kim Zolciak on The Real Housewives of Atlanta sitting on a couch with 5 other black women. Don't come over here and try to make money now when you done blew through yours. Now you want to come back. Whose friend are you, Sheree? Whose friend is Sheree? Yeah, now Sheree is cool with these people and she is in their circles. But Sheree, why are you determined to bring this white woman back? Really? My 2 cents, that's how I feel. I'm going to go ahead and move it along. Let's get into the Real Housewives of Miami. So Alexia and Gertie had some things to say about the reunion.
Just mark our words. It was
the reunion stays in the reunion.
yes, but there's something historic. It's going to be Bravo history as far as the news that comes out.
It was a bomb, una bomba. Like Angie
No
and I
one-
almost fell off our chair.
No one started coming. We were like this for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you didn't know to smile, cringe, like
Like, how do you react to that? Like, it
just
was
mark
a
our
lot.
words. It was intense.
So she said, mark their words, child. It was intense. The reunion stuff is revealed. We know that all the housewives say that. Something wild happened, something that never happened. Or Andy will say, this reunion is the best. Or something happens that have never happened before. And we all kind of like, we don't trust you. Because we've been through this with you before, Andy. And to the ladies, right? But they're saying something wild happened. So I guess we shall see. I want to know, because if it had them sitting looking like this. Now, that's Alexia's look. I'm confused. But if I had the whole cast sitting like that, I do want to know. I want to see. But speaking of stuff being revealed, child, let's get into Alexia's ex. Now, ex, not ex, back together, not back together. Todd. Let's get into some things that Todd had to say. Hold on, y'all. All right.
The biggest mistake I've made in my adult life was agreeing to participate in The Real Housewives of Miami. Now, I was not one who really wanted to give up my privacy and become a reality star. That was never for me, and I certainly never enjoyed filming, and I'm sure that's obvious to anyone who ever watched the show. But the final straw, the breaking point, came when lies started being told, and Adriana went on TV and started making claims that I was struggling and couldn't pay my rent and I was having financial problems. And it was a real blow to me, and I couldn't believe people would make these kind of lies up. And I was very mad at her for lying on TV, and she knew it was a lie. And I was mad at Alexia for getting me involved in this mess. But I was the most mad at the producers who knew the story wasn't true. And they didn't just run it, they ran it and reran it and reran it with no regard for me or my feelings or the truth. And in fact, I was the one telling them after the story came out, and I knew that they filmed it, that I had just bought a $24 million shopping center. What?
Huh? I'm going to stop and go because you know YouTube wants you to do that. So they was saying that you couldn't pay the rent and you was broke, and you said, "Nah, that's not true. I just purchased a $24 million shopping center." Okay.
What was my financial problem? But they really didn't care. The show must go on. And they did. The show did go on. And it got to a breaking point where I couldn't take it anymore. And I had to make a very hard decision. I realized I couldn't live in this world anymore. And the woman I loved couldn't live without it. So I had to make a decision to leave. And it was a very tough decision, but it had to be made. I was well aware of the storyline they were creating for Series 7 about the reconciliation. And I agreed that I would go along with that. In return, I was under the impression I was getting some apologies from Adriana. And I was going to be
So he's saying he agreed to go along with the reconciliation storyline. So they were never going to reconcile. And that was just Alexia, was that her story to have a story in quotes is to talk about will I, won't I, will we, won't we? Is that what he's saying? Because he said, I agreed to go along for the reconciliation storyline, as if there was never going to be any reconciling.
let off the hook, so to speak, and not dragged like past husbands of these kind of TV shows. So it seemed like a pretty fair deal to me, so I stayed quiet and let it air out. Now, not surprised at all that it didn't play out as I had expected. I see no apologies coming my way, nobody acknowledging the slander and defamation of character they did to me. I see actually the story getting worse and they're making up stories about how I moved out of the house and left Frankie alone, which none of this is true. It's just for the storyline.
Now that right there, I said, because I'm trying to go back, have we saw Frankie say that about Todd leaving him, or did Alexia just tell us that story? If that's not true, and he never did that, Shaw, and word on the curb is Todd is telling the truth. That's all I'm saying. I was on some streets, made a left down the streets. Somebody said, "Hey, Todd is telling the truth." I said, "Oh, okay." And then I went back up the road. Let's keep going.
And I've stayed quiet. For 18 months, I sat back and stayed quiet out of respect and love to Alexia. But at some point, you're pushing too far. And this is the point. Now, I could understand Alexia bashing me. And I could understand her coworkers doing the same. Even the one I've never met once in my life who seems to be obsessed with me. That's all fine. And I'm not surprised one bit that the producers are running this, because they need a storyline to sell you guys a show. But what did surprise me is that they used Peter to come at me and bash me and say that I don't give a shit about Frankie. Well,
now here's my question though, because we got to stop and talk. That's YouTube. Did you move out in the middle of the night though? Did you leave without telling the lady? Did you decide to move on from your marriage without having real conversations with Alexia? Because if so, that's messed up. Regardless, even if all this stuff is true about Alexia lying about, him moving out, leaving Frankie by himself, what have you. What is your role in it?
Now you hit a nerve and now you have my attention and you're going to start getting some responses. That's where you went too far. Now, there is no doubt Alexia is an amazing mother and does everything for Frankie she can. And so does his father, by the way, who never seems to get any credit. This guy works 5 days a week to support himself and spends almost every weekend out with Frankie, taking him out and taking care of him, being a great dad. And he deserves recognition. However, beyond those two people, there's nobody on planet Earth that's done 1,000th of what I've done for Frankie in the last 7 years. In 7 years' time of living with Frankie, just about every morning we'd wake up together before everybody else and have a coffee and talk. Every afternoon I come home from work and I spend time with Frankie. I didn't just provide for Frankie financially by putting a roof over his head and putting food on his table and designer clothes on his back. I did do that, but I also did a lot more. And to say I didn't give a shit is ridiculous. Let's talk about it. Took him to the movies.
Well,
took him to the beach, took him to the jacuzzi, took him to the pool, took him on cruises, took him on vacation for weekend getaways. 2, 3, 4 nights a week, Alexia and I would take him to dinner. We would go out on the weekends and we'd take him with us. I would spend so much time with Frankie. I was very involved with getting Frankie trainers for his health. I was very involved with getting Frankie into the Demoya Foundation. I was involved in getting him all sorts of speech therapists, and anything I could do to make this guy's life better, I was all for it. And that's why.
What do y'all think when people come and defend themselves like this? Because there's a part of me that is like, well, if you're with the mother and you're saying you're there for him, those are things that you do, right? If you're with someone and you're saying, I'm going to provide for you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, then you don't necessarily get a thank you. How they say, mom, like people thank dads when they step in, but they don't thank moms, right? Because they feel like that's what you're supposed to do. And it should be like that all around. But then there is a part of me that's like, if what Peter and Alexia are saying aren't true about him, he does have a right to defend his name, because we sometimes with these shows we'll watch and say, don't pay no attention. Oh, they must be lying. They out here defending their name. But then I think about it, if it was me and somebody was dragging my name on this platform that has thousands and thousands, sometimes millions of viewers, maybe on Peacock, because not on Bravo, but their numbers are going up, I would feel like I wanted to clear my name too. It's very easy to say, oh, child, don't worry about clearing your name. That's not important. But at the same time, again, you're dragging me, saying I don't care about him. So I go back and forth with Todd. Really, you're not even on the show. You up here telling us what you did with Frankie. You took him here, you did this. But then at the same time, it's like, but they are dragging this man saying he doesn't care anything about Frankie. So I kind of see it. You know what I mean? Y'all let me know what y'all think.
It really hurts that someone's going to come at me and say that I didn't give a shit about him, because I'm going to tell you.
Child, we only almost 4 minutes and this thing is 10 minutes long. Come on, y'all, ride with me.
There's not a person on planet Earth who's done as much for him other than his parents as me. And that's how I love Frankie. And you know what? Because I love Frankie, I'm going to speak up, because Frankie would want me to, because he knows this isn't true. Now, I really have no problem with Peter. In fact, after Alexia and I split up, I reached out to Peter and I told him how bad I felt, how things went between us and the pressures that he and I had to deal with. And I told him how bad I felt that I was never able to help him launch a career and get started with a job and get his life on track. And I felt bad for all the pressure the guy had. And I made it.
Yeah. That was a little dig, I feel like.
Very clear. That's my failure more than his. And I told him I would always be there for him, regardless of whether he wanted my help and regardless of my position with his mom. And I always stand by that, and I will always stand by that. But today I feel bad for Peter, because the producers used him again. You see, they convinced him to go and tell the story for their ratings, and he knows better than anyone, when they got something on you, they put it up against you. Except what Peter probably doesn't know, and why he probably had to do this, is because thanks to me, I'm the one who convinced Alexia to negotiate a deal for Peter and Frankie to get paid. That's why they get paid. And that's why I probably believe Peter had to do it, for the paycheck. So I kind
He gets paid. They get paid. Child, I thought the children didn't get paid. I just thought they were a part of the. Okay.
kind of understand that I'm not mad at him all. And my offer to always be there for him will always stand. Peter shouldn't be calling me out on TV. Peter should be thanking those that are helping take care of Frankie, like me. That's the truth.
Can I say something? Even if everything he's saying is true, there's just still something about him that seems, and I could be totally off base. I don't know this man. I haven't met this man, never been in this man's presence. But you know, sometimes you just get a feeling like still something don't feel. Remember that video he did for Dr. Nicole's husband? That apology, that 7-minute apology video? I don't know. He could be telling the entire truth and nothing but the truth. So help him. But I still feel like while at the same time, I also feel like there's something, maybe sinister is too strong of a word, but I don't know.
Truth. Even after the divorce, I continued to support Alexia and Frankie, paid the rent. She used my Amex to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars a month. That's what I did. And in fact, the house they live in, where you live as well, Peter, I pay the rent on that house. Even after the show came out.
Huh? So he pays the rent on her current one and where Peter lives now? Now, wait a minute. And you dragging me and
I was so hurt and I couldn't believe this was going to happen to me again. And I saw the first episode. I still continued to pay these bills. That's who I am and that's what I did. And it doesn't seem fair that you're going to come for me now. You should be thanking me instead. With all that said, I still feel bad for him because the producers got the best of him and he knows it and I know it and there's no hard feelings there. But but you did change the storyline for me. Now I have to speak up. You see, there's been hundreds of podcasters and news media articles that wanted to write stories, and they wanted my side of the story, and I stayed quiet. But I can't sit back and let you create this narrative that I just didn't give a shit about Frankie. Not only do I love Frankie, I love myself too, and I'm not going to let you and the producers do this to me. So no hard feelings, but I'm going to have to start talking as well. And even as I sit here today, I'm still heartbroken about the fact that Alexia never told me this was going to happen to me, and that she allowed this to happen. And worse yet, she and I actually did reconcile in January of this year after the show filmed, and we were together and doing great for months. And she never said a word about anything coming my way. And since then, I've never heard an I'm sorry, never got a text.
So they reconciled in January of this year, he said. Okay.
Nothing. It's just too bad, so sad. And while I'm never going to try and win over any viewers, because I truthfully don't care about that, I do want to tell my side of the story. And I am going to go out there and do it so the viewers know I didn't leave Frankie home alone, and it wasn't this crazy situation where he was so distraught on the couch.
Well, he says even though he doesn't care about winning over the viewers, he is going to go out and tell his side of the story. This is it, right? Because I know he don't mean. Okay.
And I'm not this horrible person they make me out to be, but at the end of the day, I have to stand up for myself. And what we'll do is I'll tell my side of the story, and Bravo can tell their side of the story, and you, the viewers, will get to judge what you believe and what you don't believe.
Sure.
Like I said, I'm not trying to win anybody over, but I am trying to tell the side of the story. You'll get to be the judge and jury. Now, for the producers, there's a totally different story I have for you guys. These producers, they like to sit in their editing rooms and production rooms and hide behind the cameras, and they'll drag anybody. And all you got to do is look at the past husbands and boyfriends of this show. They have no regard for anyone, as if we don't have families, friends, lives, careers. It just doesn't matter as long as they're making a show. And they hide in private, and they could care less about the truth. They just want to make a show. And if you confront them, they say, you got a bad edit, I'm sorry. Well, that's not going to cut it anymore, because these producers know the secrets are coming out, that you have people on these shows hiring private investigators to dig up dirt on other castmates to ruin.
Child, what did Dr. Nicole say in her interview with Dr. Tiffany Moon? We talked about it. He talking to you, Marisol.
Them. They're hiring PR companies and social media bot accounts to hurt people with no regard for them whatsoever. These people have script writers to give them, witty one-liners so they seem so good and they could turn the direction of themselves and make themselves look fantastic. And you know about this. And you guys hide in the private room and you don't get exposed. Well, that's going to change, because all these things you've been doing to the cast, how are you going to like it if I expose you? How are you going to like it if these things are done to you and I draw you out into the public? Sure. How is it going to feel when you're getting questioned by the public on the way you behave? Let's see. But the difference is for you guys, and the difference is for people like Adriana, who slandered my name and who made up all these lies and thought it was fun and clever, and the producers who thought they could edit it and rerun it and rerun it and rerun it and keep showing it and keep talking about it and there'd be no consequences. And for the producers who really didn't even have a right to have me on TV for season 6, you're going to have a different crowd that I want to perform for, so to speak.
Remember when we said everything that Adriana said was true and Adriana be knowing stuff? So, okay.
You're going to have a courtroom to perform in, and you're not going to have to convince the public. You're going to have to convince a real judge and a real jury if you had the right to use me on TV and lie about me on TV when you knew it was a lie. Let's see where we go with this, because for all the people you dragged with no regard for them whatsoever, past and present people on the show, I'm the guy with the reputation. I'm the guy with the resume in life. And I know you've been digging up as much dirt as you can. Doesn't seem like you found so much. But I'm also the guy with the resources to take you guys down. So you found this game very clever. You wanted to get the ratings and you wanted to get your season launched. So good for you, you did. Except now I'm going to speak up and I'm going to take your asses to court, and we'll
Does Todd want a mojito in opening credits? Okay.
Find out if you had a legal right to do it. And you know what? You said it. You replayed it. Now you better prove it. And if you can't prove it, you're going to pay me. And I think I'm going to take all that money I'm going to win, and I'm going to win a lot of money. And when I do, I'm going to give it to groups that work with people that are bullied, cyberbullied, bullied in person, attacked online by people like you who hide in these rooms and destroy lives, destroy families. You're not good people. And just face it, I sit here and say that. For the viewers, you could question me, but over the, 15 years of the show, you call it a guilty pleasure to watch it. But would you ever participate in it? Would a sane person ever expose their lives? For what? To go to BravoCon and have people tell you they love you? Bullshit. You wouldn't do it either. And the past performance of this show, look at where these families have wound up in. Tons of divorces, people in jail, miserable lives. I mean, it's just created no happiness and no joy for Earth other than a guilty pleasure. So you could enjoy watching it, but for the participants, I think you got to get your heads checked. And for the producers who produce it and hide in the rooms, I'm coming for you.
Child. That was a lot. There is stuff that I agree with him on. I'm not going to say that I don't. You know, it's just a lot. Now, let me tell you, I'm going to tell you what his caption was. Y'all, he had a 10-minute video. This was his caption. Life according to Todd. Dear RHOM producers, I tried to stay silent. I truly did. I believe that by stepping back, I was taking the high road, letting you tell your story even when it was wildly false and deeply manipulated. But enough is enough. Your lies, bullying, and behind the scenes extortion tactics have gone too far. For years, I allowed you to paint a fictional version of me because I love my wife and I didn't want to get involved in your circus. I thought staying quiet would protect my peace, but you've crossed the line. Call me names, twist the truth, suggest whatever you want about my character. But the second you dared portray me as someone who doesn't care about my stepson, a young man living with a brain injury, you revealed who you really are. This season, it's obvious your entire storyline revolves around attacking me and one woman, a cancer survivor, no less. You've allowed gang-style pylons, physical violence, gaslighting, microaggressions, and racially charged comments to go unchecked. You've enabled cruelty, encouraged hate, and turned mean-spiritedness into entertainment. I mean, you've enabled, I said that. You've enabled cruelty, encouraged hate, and turned mean-spiritedness into entertainment. This is what you promote. This is your brand. And if this is what you proudly do for a living, I hope your families are proud. But here's the truth you can't edit out. RHOM has the lowest ratings of, of any Housewives franchise ever. One of the lowest performing shows on all of Bravo. I now understand that if I don't stand up for myself, you'll never stop. You'll keep running with these lies for as long as you have a platform. While I hope this would fade and I could quietly return to my private life, it's clear I have to end this story myself. So let me be clear. I will not only challenge these lies, I guarantee I will silence them once and for all. And then he did the peace emoji, but with the white hands. Child, now I'm going to say he did call that one little thing out, honey. Well, he called a couple little things out. Whether I feel like he's like a ick, I do agree with some of the things that he's saying. And if all of the things they're saying about Todd were in fact a lie, that's messed up on Bravo's part. As far as the women, it's in their contracts that the production is allowed to edit and tell the story that they want to tell, regardless of how it makes the women look. It's in their contract. So they know what they're getting into. And let's be clear, they were resurrected after how many years they want to stay on this show. So they're willing to do whatever. So I'm not surprised. Let's get into some things that Alexia said before this, right? Now, he said they reconciled in January. It's clear that they probably are not back reconciled. Alexia was on the Decider, and she had some things to say. I'm sorry, not on Decider. She was on Housewives Night Recap. Oh, I was trying to find the clip for you. I thought it was on here. Basically, she was on Housewives Night Recap. It's on YouTube. And what she said was, one second. She said, so Todd's post came days after Alexia revealed she cut off communication with him during an August 13th interview with Access Hollywood's Nightwives Nightcap. We're not talking. It was my decision to go no contact, zero contact. I really do believe in it. So far, it's working. It's been like over 45 days. It's great, and it's the only way. According to Alexia, she hopes to be an inspiration to other women who've seen her and Todd's relationship play out on RHOM. She says, if I could turn my pain into purpose or continue to be inspiring in any way, maybe that's not what I wanted my story to be. He literally handed me my story. And as you can see, I didn't really want to share it. I was really protective, like I said, but I had to do what was best for me. I had no other option. I gave everything I could give. I was even going to quit the show for him. So it's been a journey. I've learned a lot about myself. And right now, I'm just focusing on my kids and just my family and myself. I have peace. I'm happy. I feel free. And I'm just excited about my next chapter, whatever it may be. So it's like seems like they're not together. I will say this. Leaving the show for him, Todd could have all the money in the world. People could have all the money in the world, but it doesn't buy fame. And if they want to be famous, which there's nothing wrong with wanting to be famous. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be on TV, right? I truly wonder if Alexia would leave for him. She herself said, a couple seasons ago that she was a star. And being in this role allows her to be a star, if you will, right? So I'm wondering if she really was willing to give it up. All this is truly a mess, though. And if he is is he just talking, or is he really going to sue Bravo? Because at this point, I don't know. That also could be putting her job in jeopardy, I'm thinking. When it comes to RHOA, I think that's why Kenya's not back, because Britt was threatening this $20 million lawsuit. And even though it's not towards Kenya, what happened with Kenya and production is the reason behind the threat to sue. So I really do think that's why Kenya wasn't back this season. They wanted to die down. Then there's also a part of me that thinks they were trying to find a way anyway, right? And this was their way. So I wonder with Alexia, if Todd really does go through with this, would it jeopardize her and her job in any way? Child, I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. That was a lot. Some people say Todd, I've seen some comments where people were saying Todd needs to shut up. He just needs to be quiet. He's a whiny. He needs to stop talking. And then there are some people that are like, he has a right to tell his side of the story. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Last thing, y'all, on this beautiful Saturday morning. Tamra Judge had a story up. Someone sent her a message and said, not as a fangirl here, just as a human here. You're way too good for this. I love watching you and completely love what you bring. But tonight, meaning Thursday night's episode, I was brokenhearted for you. In that time, I can't imagine the pain and all the emotions you had within. To see you and feel like no one fully had your back, in parentheses, maybe Heather, or even just a heart for the time you were living. It was heartbreaking. I mean, to think what this time frame was, I feel like no one has had any empathy in a way. They just try to say it's another Tamra excuse. I mean, come on. Talking about everything that went down with Tamra, which we will get to when I do OC's review. And some people feel like she's using Teddy being sick as basically a shield, or Teddy battling cancer as a shield. I do think she's very heartbroken because that's her best friend. And I also do think that that's some of it as well. Tamra's actions on the show have made me think that. And I wonder, and I said it in last week's review, would she have the same level of empathy that she's wanting for someone else that was their friend going through it? I could see her saying, it's not you, it's your friend. I could see her saying that. I really could, based on the things we've seen. Tamra responded back and said, thank you for all the kind words you sent, in parentheses, like this. I have not watched the episode. It was a painful time. I don't want to relive. Emotionally, I hit a wall with everything I was dealing with a crying face or with a tear. I was taking Xanax to deal with the pain and mixed it with alcohol. Thank you at Heather DeBro. And I'm sorry the way I responded to you. I love you very much. I'm sorry. All of that could be true, and she may be sorry. It's always, I'm sorry. I was doing this. I was going through this. I took a Xanax. I was drinking alcohol. I was in a tough spot. I was in a dark spot. All of those things may be true, but there are times when you just need to say, I'm sorry. I was a butthole. Period. I know for me, I do look at things like, if somebody always has an excuse, maybe there actually is a valid reason and they should be able to say it, right? But with Tamra, it's always something. It's never her fault. It's never, oh, maybe my initial action caused this person's reaction. So I don't get to be upset about their reaction and now make it about me. If they couldn't confront Tamra about the things she was doing then when? And let's say they try to do it next season. Then it's, I don't want to rehash the past or bring up the past, right? Because that's her go-to as well. Girl, I'm not saying she got to get off my screen. I'm saying call her out on her BS and we can keep it moving. I don't know, but what do y'all think? Are y'all glad Tamra's back? When Tamra wasn't there, did you think the show is boring? Y'all think her and Heather have an alliance or some type of agreement? I do. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think about this. Tamra apologizing to Heather, the Alexia and Todd of it all. Do y'all think something really went down at the reunion? What y'all think about Kim coming back? Oh yeah, that's what the answer is. No. Okay. No, no, for real. Let me know what y'all think about Kim and Sheree coming back. I don't even know why Sheree coming back, to be honest. For me, the best thing about Sheree on the show is looking at her because she looks good. I like to see what she's wearing. Her body be looking good in the clothes. That's it. I've never been a Sheree fan. She's given us some good moments, don't get me wrong. But you know how you say, not a stan, but oh, I'm a fan of this housewife. I felt like the show could go on without her. But if she's coming back, fine. But then to bring Kim, it's like, girl. So y'all let me know what y'all think about the whole Kim of it all. And let me know what y'all think with Nene and Claudia. Again, do you think maybe Nene is not coming back for this season, but there's potential for next? Or do y'all think Claudia was just talking? Or maybe she did talk to an executive on the West Coast of NBC who just got it wrong. I love y'all so much. Enjoy y'all Saturday. See ya.